So I'm someone that's a compulsive and impulsive spender by nature. Now, over the last 10 years, I've been able to kind of rid myself of both of those habits. I'm not saying completely rid, I still deal with it, but I'm gonna walk you through in this video how I was able to overcome it. And quite frankly, I haven't seen anybody else on YouTube use the same methodology. Compulsive, if you're not sure what that is I'll give myself as an example, but anytime I've ever gotten a hobby or gotten into something, I've become very compulsive with my spending or looking for a deal. You know, like if it's like I collect physical media, so I'd go on a website every day to see what the lowest deals were. It kind of became a daily habit for me. I would say retail therapy is common with compulsive spending. So if you're someone that uses retail therapy because you work hard, you're working a lot of hours, it's how you deal with your stress, a breakup, etc. Those are examples of compulsive, and I have that. But I also have impulsive. Now, what impulsive is you really don't have a plan, you just see it and it looks like a good deal, so you add it to your cart and you buy it. Or you see something that's like, oh, it's 2 for 1, even though I don't need shoes, but I buy it anyway because it's a really good deal. I also get what a lot of you get, which is the dopamine hit of getting things delivered. After years of therapy for depression and anxiety that I have, I learned that spending was a way for me to kind of show my worth and my success. When I'm working long hours, it made me feel like it's justified. Whether I'm stressed out, it actually didn't make me feel better, but I thought it made me feel better. And then the same thing with like net worth, right? Like knowing that I'm doing well, I can afford these things, made me feel like I was accomplishing something. So not necessarily your net worth financially, but just your worth as a human and contributor, that I made it, I'm doing well. And making it seem like even if I was struggling with it, that maybe other people looked at me and thought I was better maybe than I was. And all of those are thoughts made up in my own head and maybe in your own head. There's usually a reason why each of us overconsumes. For me, it was my value and my success. So it's important for you to understand, and for anyone to understand, why they make the purchases they do, whether it's impulsive, compulsive, or just a dopamine hit, because it makes it a lot easier to deal with the problem if you know what that underlying problem is. But if you're struggling, I get it. I struggled too, and it's frustrating as hell. But here's how I got my shit together, and honestly, I haven't heard this approach from anyone else. A goal without a plan is just a wish is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Set a goal for yourself or a mission that changes your life. For me, my family, it was to become our own bank and own everything outright and not have the things that we buy own us. That might be an irrational goal for you, and that's fine. Everyone should have their own individual goal. But the tips I share will only work if you have a goal figured out. Your goal might be to get out of debt, own your home, save up for your kids' tuition, pay off credit card debts, etc. Or maybe it's to save up and be your own bank like mine. But make sure it's not just to cut back. Because eventually when you say it's just to cut back, it gets real old and it doesn't work. So have a bigger goal in mind when you take on these next questions I'm about to teach you. So before I get into those 4 questions, let me talk through 2 tips that'll improve the effectiveness of the questions I'm about to ask. First, delete shopping apps for a while on your phone. I have them back on my phone, but for years I took them off. Because I would see something, I would think of something, I would be out and about, and just the compulsive would be like, I gotta see what's going on. Deleting those shopping apps from my phone made it less easy to be compulsive. Next, dedicate one set computer to do all your online orders. Could be your office, could be a desk, could be a table, doesn't matter. But use one dedicated computer to make all of your online purchases. The point is to eliminate the easy temptations if you are a compulsive spender. Let's say you're also someone that shops in retail therapy. Commit to 30 days where I'm not gonna go in there and I'm just gonna shop online or do an in-store pickup. That way you're not tempted. So let's get into the 4 easy questions that'll help transform your spending. So I write these questions down and I leave it next to my computer. And I often find that these questions talk me out of being both impulsive and compulsive. Question 1, is this a need or do I just want it? And oftentimes I find that I just want it. It's not actually a need. Giving myself time to get back to my computer and then asking that first question, it pretty much becomes pretty clear, like, this isn't something I actually need, it's just me being compulsive or impulsive again. Question 2, am I paying for this with money I don't have? Now, when I was in debt, this one really hit home for me. And I was someone that was living off of credit cards. So I didn't actually understand the value of $1 and how much $100 costs, because I was putting it on a credit card and then just, keep paying it off. So for me, this question's pretty easy when I see it now, because I only kind of pay with my own and I don't live off of credit cards anymore. And anything I buy, I pay off immediately. But if you're someone that is constantly living off of credit cards, knowing like this is money you don't actually have, that you're actually spending the banks, can sometimes talk you out of continuing with that purchase. Question 3, what will happen if I don't buy this? What will happen a year from now if I don't buy this? This one's really helped me with some of the impulsive, because I realize like we're not gonna run out of stock here. These deals happen all the time. The second part of the question, will what happen a year from now if I don't buy this, is an interesting one, because many times I feel like I buy something now and then I don't use it down the road. Will this really improve my life a year from now? Or am I just kind of like thinking only in the short term? And again, it's bigger picture thinking, but it really helped me with being like, why do I need this sweatshirt? It's summer. This is not a wise decision. Or this thing is on sale, but there's another deal coming up in 60 days. I'll check back then. Finally, how does this purchase help my financial goal? That's why in the beginning of this, I said it's important to have a financial goal. And this one usually hits home for me all the time, because if my goal is to build a bank, why do I need 100 more movies that cost me X? And when you look at like your long-term goals, it gets a lot easier to understand like the purchases that we make on the day-to-day don't help us necessarily a year from now. Back in the day, I used to buy cars like every 2 years. And the reality is like, what will happen a year from now if I don't buy this? Most of the time after a year, I was like, this isn't a new car to me anymore. And just that little trick in your head of like, what will this purchase be a year from now, changes my mindset to it. It also comes in handy if like you and your friends are going out to, a party, or you're going out for drinks or something like this. That kind of like impulse of like, will this even matter a year from now if I don't go? And it's kind of helped me walk myself out of putting myself in a position where I'm picking up the tab for everybody or buying everyone dinner and desserts and drinks and all of that sort of stuff. So use that as well to just sometimes walk yourself out of, a situation you don't actually really need to be. So leave a note near where you place your orders and ask yourself these questions before making the purchases. If it checks all the boxes, I proceed with the purchase. Most of the time though, for me, it's just a want, and none of it will actually improve my life today, in the future, and not a year from now. Or I'm buying it with money I don't actually have. I hope these questions help. You got this. You got this. It helped me, and I know it can help you if you stick and build habits around it. It would also mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed, and I'll see you on the next video.